Hey guys, in today's design discussion, I am going to talk about the Mizutsune from the Monster Hunter franchise. It first appeared in Monster Hunter Generations, and then again in Monster Hunter Generations Ultimate, and it's one of the more quirky monsters I have personally battled in the series. The overall inspiration seems to come from foxes, as even the name is similar to Kitsune, which is the literal word for fox in Japanese. Kitsune in Japanese folklore can be depicted as messengers who serve spirits. They punish greedy merchants and wicked priests, while some also depict them as evil beings that couldn't be trusted. Strange lights in the sky or abnormal fires were said to be caused by Kitsune. This fire theme doesn't show itself with the regular Mizutsune, but in its subspecies, the Soul Seer. This subspecies, when enraged, has blue flames coming out of its one eye and has attacks that deal fire damage. On the actual physicality, the Mizutsune is the only Leviathan Class creature to have fur. The Leviathan Class in Monster Hunter characterizes monsters that swim and therefore are in the water a lot of the typical day. This fur would likely to be similar to otters, which is to help insulate them as well as repel water, which both keep the creature warm in the water. It would also help with the maneuverability of the Mizu when it slides on the bubbles on land. The scales and fins are obviously those of fish. The fins likely don't have functions and are there just to attract mates. This is a mode of natural selection called sexual selection or mate choice. This is where the males with the traits more appealing to females are more likely picked to mate with, thus passing on those genes to the next generation. This is regardless of if the trait helps the individual find food or survive. This can be found in many species, including birds like the birds of paradise, and in fish like the male betta and guppies. Their tails and fins are long and often vibrantly colored, which is how the fins on the Mizu are. The long claws are reminiscent of marine iguanas, the only iguana to spend most of its life in the water. They have longer than usual claws that they use to hold onto the ocean bed while grazing. This might help the Mizu in the same way with hunting or moving through the water, but it can be found to help move it quickly on land. In combat, it also pivots very quickly, which could be due to the nature of its two long-hooked claws. The behavior is much more interesting. As an apex predator, it hunts primarily fish and occasionally large game. Its claws and body lines facilitate both aquatic and land-based hunting. It also has the ability to produce bubbles using a substance produced from its skin. It then launches these bubbles at and around the hunter. This also allows it to be even more agile on land and to trap prey. When a hunter is hit by the bubbles, you get a debuff that makes you slip around, unable to attack. It's quite humorous to watch, but it puts you in a very precarious situation since you can't attack and your movement is very limited. Bubbles are used among a variety of species for attacking and defense. Snails create a bubble shield around them for protection, and snapping shrimp snap their pistol-like claws so fast they essentially make a vacuum bubble that, upon collapsing, is so loud that it stuns their prey. The way Mizu throws around the bubbles and then hones in on the player trying to avoid them feels like a take on a technique whales use for hunting. The technique they use is called bubble net feeding. This is a group effort where one whale will dive down and start blowing bubbles in a circle. This then rises to the top as a spiral, and while that happens, other members of the group use their flippers to reinforce the ring. This process is repeated several times until they are full. The bubble ring confuses the fish and makes them less likely to escape and is a more effective way to gather food. In the case of the Soul Seer, the bubbles are used for sight, and if you touch the bubbles, it will launch into its attacks. This is similar to the trapdoor spider, who uses threads outside of its burrow to ambush prey in front of it. It will also coat its front claws or tail in red bubbles that might serve to give an attack boost. However, this also causes the parts coated to become weaker to attacks, unlike creatures in real life who use bubbles for defense. The Mizutsune is an interesting monster, and I hope the Monster Hunter team keeps adding more mechanically interesting creatures like this to the game. As always, if you think of any of the creatures that the Mizutsune could incorporate, leave a comment down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to hit that like button so more people see the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell icon if you want to be notified as soon as I post a new video. I hope you all have a wonderful day!